Alright, this is Mr. Ruger Cat 45, and this is the first video in a new series of videos that I've been planning to do for a number of years now, and I call it Vintage Classics. And what this is it's going to be, each video is going to have a new knife or a different knife in it that I own or have owned or that has made a particular impact in my life. And I'm going to explain the good and bad about the knife, and some of the uses and functions of the knife, and just basically my views and feelings about the knife, kind of. I want to have some tests in it on some of them, and just a little bit of everything, so stay with us and you'll see. The first one, I bought this one a few years ago, I think back in 2017 up in Cherokee. This is a Gerber Parabellum. This one is from the 80s or the early 90s, and I believe these were in production for about 6 or 7 years. I'm not exactly sure, but it wasn't much. But these are among some of the earliest tactical style knives, that modern tactical style knives, I should say. When we came to think of tactical knives in the modern sense, at least, something that's easily and quickly drawn, has a very secure, safe lock, and something easily carried. So this, it was designed for the outdoor and military community, especially I think more for the military law enforcement community. I can't remember exactly the specifications on the steel. I think it's 440A or something like that that Gerber used in the past. This is one of the ones that was made in Portland, Oregon in the USA before they started outsourcing everything to China and Taiwan. But anyway, it's got a very, very distinctively shaped handle. The name says it all, Parabellum, which in Latin means for war. So it has definitely a military edge to it. It's very, very comfortable in the hand. I have to say, I've been looking for one of these in the past for a while, and I have another one, or I did have another one, but it was a Gerber bolt action, the hunting version. It did not have the little hilt. It did have the bolt action lock, and it had a very similar shaped blade, but it was smaller. Very quick. For a knife that wasn't designed to be opened one-handed, there's ways around that. The old one that I had, I could definitely hold back on the lock and sling the blade out and it would open very quickly. This one does not do that, of course. So you can do it one-handed, kind of, but it's not meant for that. That was before, or right about when the spider hole was starting and thumb studs. That was back when you could still get thumb studs, the little pinch on, screw on thumb studs that you could get as an aftermarket accessory on knives, because most people didn't want them and didn't really need them. Two-handed opening was good for people for hundreds of years, and up until the early 90s it was good for most of us. But anyway, even now, quite honestly, these knives stack up quite well. This one, as you can see, it's been used a considerable amount. The blade has a good portion of it sharpened away. I bought it up in Cherokee, North Carolina when I was up there with the family back in 2017, and if I remember correctly, I think I paid about $70 for it, which is a bit more than I wanted to, but I have been looking for this knife for a long time. Most of the knives that I buy, I usually buy on eBay because I work a lot and I just don't really have any time to go out looking for places to buy stuff. Now, we're blessed to live 10 miles down the road from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and anytime I need a knife, a gun, ammunition, tactical gear, clothing, anything of that nature, I can go right down there and buy it. Of course, I usually try not to go in there without money because it's torture. And these I can get on eBay probably now, but at the time I wasn't, I didn't have that in mind. This was kind of an impulse buy at a pawn shop, and I think they had $100 on it, and there's no way I'm going to pay that for something that's been that used. I shouldn't have paid $70 for it, but I really wanted it, and I'm glad I got it, because it's not in such a great shape that I can't use it and test it out or carry it if I wanted to. It's a flat ground blade, and it's bead blasted. It's got a very, very thin grind. The blade is about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/32. Very good edge. Better than a lot of the edges on the knives these days, I'm sure. Everything's hollow ground. But anyway, this is made in USA. It's a US patent, I believe, designed by Blackie Collins. The handle is very, very comfortable, and I have to say, nowadays we are into kind of the more understated, downtoned handles. This is kind of a big, gaudy looking handle, and it really is. I agree with that. But it's also very comfortable and very safe in the grip. It's got a small hilt up here that you can really, put your thumb up against, and it's very, very comfortable in the hand. I believe the sheath that came with these originally, you could carry it open or closed, and that was a revolutionary idea, definitely back then, because it wasn't until around 10 years ago or less that I started seeing those types of sheaths and knives, folding knives, coming out that you can carry open or closed. And that's an interesting idea. I mean, because you can already carry it opened, ready to go. That is definitely cool. So it's kind of a blast from the past, and the first video in my Vintage Classics series. So stay with us and see what else we got. There's a lot of cool knives that I have coming up. Some of them from the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s. You're going to see a lot of classics. I have some that I've been wanting to buy since I was literally a little kid, 14 or 15 years old. And hopefully I'll be able to obtain those and make a video on those. Most of these knives, more or less, are knives or tools that have affected me or formed my opinion and views on knives for a long time. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Each of them is very unique and a classic in its own right. So stay with us and see what we have. This is Mr. Ruger Cat 45. Thank you.